Hi friends, it's me, Jennifer Jayde, and I just wanted to pop in for a few quick minutes because there was something that was like boiling over inside for me to share with you today, and I listed the key points up above in the description of the video. So just to jump right in, the first thing that I wanted to share with you is what is more important than really understanding whatever the trendy sales tactic is for right now. So whether it's tripwires or sales funnels or Facebook Lives even, or whatever it is, none of that stuff matters. And please don't worry about putting those in place or perfecting them or refining them or grinding them out or even hiring someone to teach you how to do them until you've done this one thing first. And it's a big thing, but honestly, it will save you in so much wasted effort and time and money. And that is really getting to the deepest root, the deepest purpose for why you're inspired to do what you do. Why are you inspired to set this business up? What is it about it that propels you to get out of bed every morning? And I'm, if you're part of this group and you're part of this circle, I know you've probably heard that before, you're familiar with it, but I really want to bring you back to this reminder. If you're watching this video, I trust that you've been guided to watch it for a reason, whether it's this point or one of the other two coming up. But really coming back into center and into your soul and really reconnecting with the purpose of what you're doing, the intention behind what you're doing. If we lose sight of that, if we become disconnected with that, and we start really kind of slipping into the ego side of I need more money, I need more clients, I want to create this certain life for my kids, and it kind of becomes this frantic energy or this desperate energy or this needy energy, then it doesn't matter what funnel you have in place, what tripwire, what any of it. It doesn't matter what any of those things are. If you have slipped out of being in contact, connected with why you're doing this. So whether that is something that's really meaningful for you, something that makes you feel like you're living your purpose on purpose, you're living your life in a meaningful way that lights you up, being connected with that, staying centered with that, and bringing that energy into whatever mode of transportation, whatever vessel you want to bring that out into the world. So maybe you feel called to learn more about sales funnel. Maybe you feel called to learn more about tripwires. Maybe you feel called to do more Facebook Lives or get your YouTube channel up and running or do podcasts or whatever it is. But not doing any of those things, not putting the cart before the horse. And the horse is, why am I doing this? Why does this excite me? What would bring me the most joy on my deathbed to know that I affected in the world or in the life of another human being? So really discovering what that is for you. If you need support in doing that, there's some really great women in this group who can support you. I have support I can send to you, so just let me know if I can support you in really getting clear on that purpose and that why, which will be the momentum and the success behind your business. Everything else comes secondary to that. Okay, and I'm just being kind of guided to share that I attribute the growth of my business to me being aligned with what that is for me. So, I wasn't this pre-planned type A. I used to be previously and when I was in finance, but by the time I finished that business, started the wedding business, finished the wedding business, wedding photography business, and moved into coaching, I had stepped more into this type B personality, which was a bit more go with the flow and do things as they feel right. When you're starting a business, you do kind of want some type A, some organization and some pre-planning. I didn't really do a whole lot of that when I was starting my business. It was very much, what do I feel inspired to do? What do I feel called to do? Okay, I've done that. What do I feel called to do now? What is the most joyous way I could create X dollars of income in my business this month? And I would do that. So I always came from this place of feeling inspired, feeling in spirit, feeling joy, feeling called, feeling lit up, feeling ignited. And then the other puzzle pieces would come into place. I'd find the teacher that I needed, or someone would present me with this idea that'd be the best way to get this out there. And that would come together for me once I was clear on my intention, how I wanted to serve, what I wanted to call into my life, and being okay with calling things into my life, whether that's income or whatever it is, and being okay with receiving, and not only okay with it, but open to receiving. Let me know if you need support in being open to receiving, as well as I can share with you some books that really help, some audios and some trainings that might be very helpful for you, as we as women sometimes have some blocks around receiving. Okay, so that was the thing that I feel is much more important to have in place before we start investing in the systems and the structures and everything else like that. Although they are very important, we do have to put action, inspired action, behind how we want to serve others in the world. Okay, and then the second thing, I made notes here because sometimes I get a little sidetracked with all this information incoming that wants to be shared. Okay, the most expensive mistake I've made. Yeah. I made this mistake mostly in my previous business, which was wedding photography. And because I was fortunate to make this mistake in that business, I didn't make it as much in my second business. So the most expensive mistakes that I've made in business were investing in things, programs, whatever, teachings, trainings, conferences, whatever it was, out of desperation, not inspiration. So taking this to the photography business, I would purchase new cameras, new lenses, because I thought that would make me a better photographer. I thought if I had the best gear, that would make me a better photographer. If I had more gear, if I had the newest stuff, that would make me a better photographer. That was early on in my business. Then I came to realize that once I hired a mentor, that he won an award with an iPhone photo. And so then I started to realize it wasn't about the outside things, it wasn't about the gear and the cameras and the lenses, it was about the person operating the gear, and that it could be an iPhone for all that it matters. So bringing that into the coaching business, I obviously do see value in hiring a coach, or I wouldn't be one. But I made sure that I hired a coach that I felt inspired to hire, the one that I knew I had that flicker in my soul. This is my person. This is going to take me to the next level of my soul, of my purpose, of my business. And I hired her for that reason. When it came time to, and then I did renew with her, and when it came time to renew for a second time, and I really tuned in, I could sense that if I were to renew again, it would have been out of desperation and insecurity rather than inspiration. I hadn't been running my business on my own without a business coach before, and I thought, well, maybe I won't have the success I've had if I don't have a business coach, and maybe I'll run out of ideas, or my business will stall, or whatever it is. So I almost renewed for a second time, and I realized it would have been out of desperation and not out of inspiration. So yes, I believe in education. I believe in learning from the people you're really inspired by, and whether it's their course or program or conference. But there comes a time when you can check in with yourself and ask, am I doing this because I'm inspired, or am I doing this to fill a gap of feeling like I'm not good enough, or I'm not educated enough, or I'm just feeling very insecure and having a lot of self-doubt, and I feel like the more money I can throw at this self-doubt, maybe it'll go away. So really just checking in with yourself, is this decision I'm making because I'm inspired, or because I am listening too much to ego, who's telling me that I need more training and more this and more that and more that before I'll ever be good at what I do or worthy of charging for what I do. So really tuning in with that. Which brings me to my third point. How can you tune in to find the answers to these questions? I go, well, I don't really know. Like, maybe I am doing this out of desperation. Maybe I am doing it out of inspiration. I'm not really sure. Or I'm not sure what decision to make because I can see the benefits of this and I can see the benefits of that. Or I can see the fears of what if I don't do this or what if I don't do that. So how do we tune in? And it's something that I like to say is very simple, but not always easy. So it will come easier to some of us who have been practicing being tuned in and listening to our intuition. For some of us that's a bit new of a process. This might not be as simple, and it will require a bit more practice. But this was taught to me by a healer that I know. And it was just, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you for teaching me this. So when you are facing a decision or you have a choice and you're not really sure which one will be to your highest and best possible service or outcome for you or your business or wherever it applies, get to a place where you can be quiet and still for even just 30 seconds and turn this into a yes or no question. So don't ask the question internally, should I do this or should I do this? Because that's not a yes or no question. You can say, is it to my highest and best service if I make this choice? And that could be a yes or no. And then you can say, is it to my highest or best service if I make this choice? And for about 30 seconds, 60 seconds after you ask that yes or no question, and you can ask it in two different ways if you have, or frame it twice in the two different options that you have, but both in yes or no, frame them both as yes or no. I want you to pay attention to this part of your body, kind of like the heart region, chest region, heart chakra region, and I want you to notice what you feel like after each scenario. One of them it'll be very faint, and not always, it might be more obvious at times, but often is very faint. It is very subtle, but one of them will feel more elevated to you. One of them will bring you either a greater sense of relief or joy or excitement or intrigue, or maybe you'll even hear the word yes, like in the back of your mind. But one of those, even if it's just a fraction or a hair or very, very subtly, one of them will stand out to you more. And if you want to practice this, or if you want to test what that feels like for you in your body before you jump in and ask guidance like that, you can test it along the lines of something that you know what the answer already is. So, for example, what's a good example of something you could say yes to? Like, do I love the ocean? You could close your eyes and say, do I love the ocean? And it won't be this like, oh yeah, like it won't be all these bells and whistles and fireworks. It'll just be like, yeah, yeah, I do, like a peaceful, yeah. Or you could say, is my favorite licorice black licorice? Which I really do not like black licorice. And so for me, the sensation is not bad or negative or like, oh no, and this whole like thing. It's just nothing. I just don't feel any kind of reaction at all. And for me, that's a no. No. So when I'm tuning in, and it's things that I'm unsure of, so that you're unsure, they probably are kind of neck and neck and what's right and what's not right for you, but one of them will just have a hair of a yes, or this one feels a bit more exciting, a bit more inspiring, and one of them will just kind of be flat, or you won't feel anything. You maybe even feel a little bit lower when you're asking yourself it. So that's the exercise. I hope you'll practice it. Let me know how that works for you, or if you've already started to do that for yourself. But I've done that in times where I've been really unsure of especially big investments. Like if I've been thinking about investing in my next really high-level coach, or someone who's going to really teach me something that is next level, it's going to be a big investment, and I'm kind of back and forth, and it's like, is this best for me, or is this kind of desperation? I don't really know. I don't want to be making investments because I'm feeling weak or less than. It's because I will feel very inspired, and I just want to make sure that ego is not trying to trick me. So I've used that tactic before. It's saved me thousands of dollars, but it's also really encouraged me to invest in high-level coaches and mentors when it was necessary for my business. But I use that for everyday life as well. So I hope this really serves you. I hope it helps and applies to you in some way. Hey Giselle, how are you? I'm just kind of looking at the comments now on the side. Ladies, I want to share with you too before I wrap up that there have been some really incredible women being brought into my path and brought into my journey. I'm telling you, these women are extraordinary, and they're coming at me from all angles right now, and I'm so grateful. And I'm just, all I can think about is how can I get their brilliance funneled to you. They have different talents and abilities and skills and gifts to help you up level and empower yourself and get more in your purpose and unstuck and moving more powerfully forward. I'm like, oh my gosh, my Savvy Soul Sisters, my girls need this. You know, it really help you and really benefit you. So I'm going to start bringing them to you in whatever form they're open to, whether that is Facebook Live or, you know, writing a newsletter with me and sending that to you via email if you're on my email list. Maybe we'll do audio recordings, you know, whatever that looks like. I'd love for you to comment below, whether you're watching this live or the replay. Would you comment below if you would prefer to receive trainings through video, like a Facebook Live, and you can watch the replay at any time? If you prefer, or if you think you receive things better through the emails, or if audio is best for you. I'm probably gonna end up mixing it up because I know some people will prefer audio, some people prefer video, some people prefer email. But I'd love to hear from you. Audio, video, email, both, all three, which would serve you the most? And if you have any topics in particular you'd like us to cover, I'd love to hear that. Otherwise, I'm so happy we got to connect today. I'm sending you so much love, and I hope you enjoy living your purpose on purpose. I'll talk to you soon.